Burnout or misalignment? Which one is it? You very well could be one, the other, both, and not realize it. So, what is the difference? What are the similarities? Let's have a chat. I bet more of you are actually more misaligned than burned out, and that's why you can't get over your burnout. See you soon. Welcome on in, everybody. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi, fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references such as the Myrna Annals, Vitae Langica, and more. We are still looking for vendors to join us with Take Back the Veil, a virtual vendor market. If you are a craft vendor of any kind, not just bookish, if you see yourself at like a Comic-Con or a Ren Fair, do reach out. Link tr.ee/Take Back the Veil. We currently have and are holding strong at 12 vendors. We're hoping to get upwards of 50 plus. The more the merrier. If you want out more information about it, check the link tree description box below. Also, if you want to join Soul Bard Academy, now is the time. We are going to start another class here very, very soon. Y'all ain't just going to get certain sprints, Sunday scaries, and vlogs early. I have been looking through what's sitting buried in the files, and we are going to do a quick run of probably Bardic Empathy, especially given the updates of including the self in the Bardic Empathy, and then doing another run of So You Want to Be YouTuber, Author, Tuber for the spring. So let's go ahead and have a chat then. Most of us know what burnout is, right? Most of you know what burnout is. I have had teacher burnout. It is not pretty. What I'm going through now is not that. It is way deeper and beyond. So, some common symptoms of burnout. Let's go ahead and have a chat. Graphic, if you please. So, overwhelming demands and chronic lack of recovery. Burnout. Sure. We definitely see that we are giving more of ourselves than we are receiving. We see the tip of that iceberg. However, when it goes into a misalignment arena, a conflict between personal ethics and daily duties, that's a little bit beyond the burnout that we are looking to get away from. The first one usually can be handled by a week or two of mindful ways of using your time and energy and calling on help from others. That's the truth with burnout. With misalignment, you can't really call on help. Normally, when you're misaligned, you will call for help and no one will answer. Some of you felt that. I'm feeling that right now. I hate pity marketing. I hate doing it just because of my upbringing, being inclusive of a lot of stuff that I have to fight mentally. Doing videos like this is hard for me because usually I have my mother in the back of my head screaming, only pretty people do YouTube. Yes, my mother has said that to me in the last 5-10 years. Anyway, so on that note, we have a lot of misalignment going on. There's a reason why certain people are exiting our lives right now in 2026. I had to come to terms that I was holding on to a lot of relationships tighter than they were holding on to me. And that wake-up call hurt. That wake-up call hurt. Some of you who are used to spending time alone, not by choice, felt that. Some of us never grew up out of being the last kid picked to play dodgeball. Welcome to my table if that's you. That's a misalignment. That's not a burnout. That's a misalignment. So we learn to catch up and we learn to deal accordingly. The next note, burnout does improve, or you're able to at least replenish through it in waves and scaffold your way back up. We kind of hinted about that a little bit earlier. I took time off in January, in April, and in July. And it helped. It helped. This morning, I'm filming this on July 30th. I feel a little full moon hungover, if you will. And I'm noticing I'm still having some tech issues here with the camera too. That's not good. Anywho, it's pausing on me when I'm filming a little bit. And we don't want it to do that. Anywho, so I apologize if there's tech issues on this that are lingering. Speaking of lingering, that's misalignment. Despite your attempts to rest, despite your attempts to reconnect with others and yourself, waking up in the morning's hard. Showing up feels exhausting. And I'm not at the showing up feels exhausting, but waking up in the morning's getting harder. I was supposed to have been out of bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock every day this week. I got to stop waking up in the middle of the night first and then going back to bed. Every time that happens and I'm not sleeping good, I know I'm not in burnout. I'm in misalignment. Sometimes the depletion comes from detachment and cynicism in burnout land. It's temporary. We're able to be bitter and get the bitter out of our system. And I kind of equate it to cleaning a coffee grinder. Sometimes you got to send some, or picture a general food grinder, meat, veggies, coffee, seeds, anything would apply here actually. And you're trying to clean out. Normally, I hear my grandmother in my head screaming, "That's what a piece of stale bread is for." So some of us are kind of cleaning out the daily grind of our lives right now. And normally burnout helps with that. However, if it becomes a level of disconnection, even though you're trying to clean the grinders, you're misaligned. I am tired of spending so much time alone, and screaming into the void is something a lot of us are feeling. If you're feeling more and more of that, maybe something in your systems are not working. I feel like I am, for the 4th or 5th time since starting YouTube, relearning YouTube to the tune of I can't keep throwing more money to take classes on it. It's embarrassing the amount of money I have thrown towards trying to learn how to use social media better. And as soon as I learn it, it changes. So entrepreneurs try to keep ahead of the curve, not behind the curve. And that's my next frontier. How do we get ahead of the curve to avoid misalignment? So therefore, the fix land in all of this, the fix for burnout is going to be boundaries, time off, recovery. And people who say you are a insert 4 and 5 letter words here for having boundaries, they're saying that because they're no longer able to take advantage of you does apply. I've gotten called some pretty nasty stuff by people in my inner circle here lately that I don't appreciate, because my boundaries are my boundaries. And a lot of you felt that. They're allowed to have their time to adapt. We're also allowed to say, hey, you don't have to have that adaptation period around me. You can come and talk to me later. On the other hand, misalignment requires you to change roles, seek a new career, redefine your values, move the goalpost, clap by yourself again and 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 again, only to feel like everything you do doesn't work. So when that happens, pull back and look at your systems and the people that are in your circles around those systems. Sometimes it is indeed not you. I've had quite a bit of people talk a smack and then get mad that I found out they talked smack. At the same time, I'm not afraid to express how I feel about a person. We don't talk anymore because we have our issues, and it's our business, nobody else's. Because that's when drama starts. And honestly, they couldn't pay me enough to deal with that BS out of teenagers. That's why, in part, why I left education. Because the adults were behaving worse than the teenagers in that maturity department. I ain't putting up with it in my circles here. That's for dang sure. And I can be kind. We all have our boundaries for a reason. It's not to prevent burnout, it's to prevent misalignment. So pull back. Why did you originally get into this author thing? I'm going to be really honest. The reason why I got into writing my books is so I can share the stories that my characters keep putting in my head. One, they would not keep putting them there if I was meant to keep them alone. That's personally my decision on how I feel. No judgment if you feel differently. Some characters do indeed come to us to only be with us. I have those characters and I probably will never share them. So I see both sides of the coin. The ones you get are the ones you're getting because they're the ones who are meant to be shared. 2, writing is obsessively a talent and a gift for some of us because storytelling is an obsession and a gift that we are given. Look to the people who empower you. It is the storytellers who historically, hint on the word story there, are the ones that history and the world remembers us by. Not always the losers, not always the people in between, usually the winners, sadly, and it's not always accurate. The accuracy comes in because those of us who dare to speak up to tell the story from our perspective dare to have, dare I say, the balls to show up and do it. Tech gremlins and all, I dare you to show up and keep doing it. Take care of yourself. Now more than ever, you've mattered all along. And if you want to join in our membership, if you want to read my books, if you want to see all my events, description box below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, bring a friend. Let's get over 2K. You've always mattered, dang it.